Oh.
No. Jordan Poole is the most overrated player in the entire NBA.
Straight from the mountain to your street, giving you a taste of something sweet. So don't go away, sit down, take a seat. It's Midweek Motivation, not drop this beat, man. That's my dog. Let's go.
Welcome to Midweek Motivation, real conversations with real people about a very real God.
And Coca-Cola.
And Coca-Cola, not sponsored
Not
today.
sponsored by Coke.
Nor sponsored by Hurley or whatever other brands. Not sponsored by my J-Sport, my cheap knockoff shoes.
Cheap knockoff
Or
dudes.
cheap knockoff Timo.
These are the Hey Buds, not Hey Dudes. Hey Buds.
The Hey Bros.
Hey broski.
The What Up Dogs.
Homie spelled wrong. What's up, my homie?
Homie with two E's. Two E's and a Y.
Okay. Great start.
H-O-M-I-E-E-Y. Homie.
Oh. Yes.
Oh.
$12, people.
If you're not caught up, Trevor and I are cheap because we don't buy, all the cool high-end
And
shoes.
we've been called into the ministry.
Yeah. There might be a correlation there. Now, in fairness, right? So between Courtney and I am not cheap
Yes.
in most things.
Yeah.
I have very expensive taste.
I've gotten there.
But Courtney has helped me be a responsible human being, which is why we live indoors.
That's why we married our wives.
Yes. With unchecked, I would be, I don't know, somewhere more like a college student, like, oh, look at this money. I have things that I can buy, right? Which has gotten better as I've gotten old, right? Because you do mature some. Not always a ton, but you mature a little bit. But, marrying somebody responsible helped a lot.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah. So that was wise. So go us. We married responsible women. That was terrible. I don't know if that was better. Anyways, a couple things happening we want you to know about. What is happening? Compassion Weekend. Compassion Weekend is happening this weekend, so 21st
Starting
to the 23rd.
Friday morning.
I'm assuming it'll be in E-News. We'll get some more details.
Yes, you will see it Thursday morning in E-News.
Yep, but you can sign up parkroanoke.com/compassion for that experience.
Yeah,
we'll
reserve your
have.
spot.
I actually heard it on the radio this morning. I'm not sure which station, but
All right.
it was one of them.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. So they're coming up Friday, or maybe they're setting up Thursday, whatever.
Yeah,
but Friday you can go through the experience. You can sign up for a time slot. It's running Friday, Saturday, and then all day Sunday, right up to Give Thanks. Are probably I don't know, probably the coolest worship experience we do all year long.
It is the coolest.
Although I will say Monday, Thursday last year was pretty awesome. That was one of my favorites. That was
it was cool. I mean, I think it's second place to
Give Thanks is hard to beat. And I think it has to do some with the season that we do it in, right?
Yeah.
You're right near the beginning of that holiday season, and you're kind of in that mode of, giving adoration and thankfulness, and you're in the holiday season of stuff. Do you need to adjust your mic?
It's the holiday.
This is like
the holiday season.
It was like really bad ASMR.
Guilty pleasure alert. I love cooking ASMR. I can't lie.
But you
I don't
could, you could lie a little bit.
I'm not. I love to cook, and I love to watch cooking videos. Cooking
videos are fun.
Shout out to all the chefs out there making my day.
What's your favorite thing to make?
That's a tough one. I mean, I don't know. Our favorite thing to eat as a family, a meal that we have often, is authentic, like Mexican chicken tacos.
Really?
Yeah.
We have those. How authentic?
Oh, very authentic. I get the corn tortillas and the seasonings for the chicken, and I sometimes make avocado sauce. I don't even like avocados, but it's part of the whole, authentic thing. Some crema. Some crema.
I don't even know what
some
that
red
is.
salsa. Homemade, of course.
Sounds delicious.
It is delicious.
You should bring some for everybody
Tortilla
tomorrow.
cheese.
I don't even know what all that is. That's it. Look, that's how
You just have to take my
I am.
word for it.
Right. So that's why, look, I'm from Michigan, right? Very from Michigan.
Oh.
Where in Michigan, we're a little more Canadian influenced, right? So we used to go to Canada for soccer tournaments every couple of years. And every time you go to Canada, you can get every restaurant you get fries in, you can also get vinegar on your fries, which is just the best. And around here, I think the only place I've seen that does it is Five Guys. That's the only place I've found, really, I think the only place other than Canada that I found you can do that. But vinegar on fries, mwah, delicious.
Well, I think it's also fair to say people from Michigan do love Coney's.
Yes, I do love a good Coney
A
dog.
good old
So it's got to be a
dog.
Kogel's hot dog, number one. So it's got to be a foot-long Kogel's hot dog. They're
Okay.
all beef hot dogs, only manufactured in Michigan.
All beef.
All beef, delicious. And it's got to have the Coney sauce, right? Now, around here, people would look at it and call it chili. It's not chili, it's Coney sauce. Don't ask me what the difference is, but it is slightly different.
Yeah.
And you got to have diced onions, and you got to have mustard.
Absolutely.
It's delicious.
That's a staple. And also, shout out to a lesser known food joint in Michigan. It's in the dreaded East Lansing area, but it's near where Dad grew up, right? It's called Nip and Sip. Shout out to all my homies at Nip and Sip. You're delicious.
How many homies do you have at Nip and Sip?
I've met them all once,
So you guys are
but
friends
they are
for
now
life.
my homies. Congratulations to you for being homies of me.
I like it. You got homies in Michigan at the Nip and Sip. Now you got me. Now I want a Coney. I make Coney dogs. Now I will say, when I moved to North Carolina, the first time I had a hot dog with chili and slaw on it, my life was forever changed. So
Yeah.
I have adapted, and I love a hot dog. Look,
I also like Skyline chili from Ohio, but it's not authentic. It's not the real deal. People from Ohio say it's the best, but
people from Ohio say a lot of things, and they're wrong on almost all of
That's
them.
also very true.
Basically all of them.
I mean, does Courtney like Skyline?
She's not from Ohio.
Oh,
She's from
but she
Kentucky.
just likes Ohio.
Well, she lived there for like a decade. Yeah, I know. I know. Well, that's why I was okay marrying her, because she's not really from there. And her grandfather, born and raised in Michigan, or born and raised in Ohio, is a Michigan fan.
That a boy. You know, there's a lot of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot of, surprisingly.
Yeah, love him to death. Great
Yep.
guy.
Yep.
And he's a Michigan fan. So, but yeah, Compassion Weekend this week, 21st to the 23rd. Sign up, parkroanoke.com/compassion. And then make sure you stick around Sunday for Give Thanks.
You got to be there. It's a requirement.
Tremendous night.
It's a requirement for all people who go to Parkway. Be it Give Thanks. You don't have a choice.
I think so. And you can't experience it any other way than being in the room.
Right.
So you got to be here. There's no recording. There's nothing. It's not because there's like secret rituals or anything. It's just there is always going to be something special about being in the room with other believers worshiping.
Yep.
And we preserve that experience and keep it just in the room. So
Yep. It's not recorded because, trust me, bro, that's all the reason you need. And also, you should come anyway because you're going to see us.
yeah, and I'll tell you the other reason we don't record it is a lot of our production family. So we have a little over 60 on our production team that make it happen every week, that present our online services every week. And this is a time where we want to make sure they're worshiping.
Yeah.
Give them an opportunity just to worship and not focus on, all the production aspects. So that's where we're at, and you don't want to miss Give Thanks. It's going to be a good time. We were just finishing up some planning for it last week, and we're going to do a little more planning today because it's going to be good. So you don't want to miss it. Today, we should probably talk about what we're talking about today.
Talk about it.
So here's where this came from. Okay, so Carly used this phrase on Sunday, which, by the way, the past 2 Sundays, fantastic. We don't get to sometimes we forget that Carly's like just a really great pastor too, because we don't get to hear from Carly all the time. But man, what a great message the past 2 weeks. Number one, 2 weeks ago, going through the 4 cups, the real biblical basis of our mission and vision here at Parkway. Know God, find freedom, discover your purpose, discover your people. I always make so. Purpose people. Yes, that's
Purpose
right.
people.
Purpose people. Purple people. purpose people.
Purple people
Purple
eaters.
people.
Shout out
purpose.
Vikings.
But great message. Definitely need to go back and watch that. It's on YouTube. It's in our app. It's all over the place. And then this past week, going through, what happened at the Red Sea, like a story that probably most of us have heard, whether you've been in church for a while or, 5 minutes, most people, it's pretty familiar in pop culture about, Moses parting the Red Sea and all those things. But he used this phrase on Sunday that hearkened me back to my corporate retail days. And if you've ever worked in any kind of a corporate environment or a large structure, you've probably heard this phrase because it's very ubiquitous, right? Yes.
Nice.
Some would say yes. It's very autochthonous phrase. Most people would say, as one of those typical words that most people use. But the phrase is this. This is what he said. He said, "Trust the process."
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever heard that in your corporate days?
Mm-hmm.
Were they using that when you worked at Best Buy back in the day?
No, not specifically.
No.
They used a lot of weird things. It was a tough time.
I'll tell you what, I have great fond memories of my days working in corporate retail. A lot of great things. I worked for a great organization, had a lot of great leaders, right? But generally speaking, it is not an environment that I thrive in.
No.
The faux excitement that your leaders try to get you to generate about, like, here's a new initiative, right? And here's this catchphrase that we're trying to get people to use. Like, no, I don't need to do I can't get on board with those things. Yeah, I can't do that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
High quality production, ladies and gentlemen.
So sorry.
High quality.
Does not tighten all the way. And it's really bugging me. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It looks great right now. But yes.
Talking about me or the mic?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, always.
Indeed.
It's the beanie. It's really selling it this week. I'm a big fan.
I normally don't wear a beanie inside because I get, hot really easy.
Yeah.
But today, for some reason, I'm comfortable.
Comfortable.
Can we get
Comfortable's
that to
good.
go across the screen? Comfortable.
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 No, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I was never really cut out for the corporate retail world, right? So we talk about discovering your purpose. I am in my purpose right now.
Yep.
Right.
That's right.
Serving the church in different capacities is absolutely my purpose. And, by the grace of God, I get to do that. And it's such a blessing. We talk about it all the time. Like, sometimes we'll sit around and have conversations and do things. It's like, this is my job.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Right. And I think in your work life, I think that's how you know you're working in your purpose, right?
Right.
That's how you know the vocation that you're in is aligned, in some way to your purpose. That you look around, it's like, wow, I can't believe people pay me to do this, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a conversation for another day. That's actually a really good episode we should do sometime. But but Carly uses the phrase "trust the process," right? So he's talking about you should go back and watch it. It's great service. But he was talking about the Israelites at the Red Sea, right? He's talking about this one verse in Exodus 14 that it's Moses right before he sets them up to part the Red Sea, right? Which really makes me wonder. Okay. Now, this is, at what point did God tell Moses, hey, we're going to part the Red Sea? Because I'm pretty sure it was basically right before he did it. Right? So,
pretty much, yeah.
I'm pretty confident. That's what I was looking at. So somebody can fact check me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
But what's interesting about that is, so Moses is leading the people right up to the Red Sea. And they turn around, and it's like I'm imagining it just like the movies, right? Just like every movie you've ever seen.
You see that,
right? Right? Maybe with a little more alarm.
Yeah.
But they turn around and they're standing at the Red Sea in front of them, and then they look behind them like, oh, that's Pharaoh's army. And we're talking in a desert, right? So you can probably see them, coming from miles off, right?
Right.
Because this is probably not a small army because he was mad.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking like a couple hundred people, which is still a lot.
Right.
This is a whole army because there were thousands of Israelites.
Millions,
I mean.
dude, tons.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
How are a couple hundred soldiers going to corral all those people? So There were thousands of soldiers, I can guarantee.
And
you.
we're talking chariots.
Yeah.
Right.
It looked like a wave of destruction and death coming their way. That's pretty intimidating.
Right. So they had their muskets and howitzers. They had all the things, right?
Yes. Field
Oh,
artillery.
is that not quite right? No. Not maybe a different era. I was pretty sure the Egyptians had
the new Darren version, the NDV.
Well, whatever. But they're standing there at the Red Sea, and Moses is standing there as well, and they're freaking out, like, "You brought us out here just to die," right? Which is a little quote, like, which apparently is a thing that they said a lot during this time while they're in the desert. Like, let's just go back to Egypt. You brought us out here just to die. But they're standing there, and with Moses, and Moses is also seeing all of this, right?
Yep.
Moses is looking at the Red Sea, he's looking back at Pharaoh, and God hasn't at this point told him, like, don't worry, I'm just going to open up the sea, bro. It's fine, right? Like, homie, Homiey, this is not what he's saying. God hasn't said anything to him yet. So he's standing there, right? And what do you think is going through Moses's mind?
They're gonna kill me.
Right?
My own people are gonna kill me because I'm psycho.
Right.
Yeah.
So the things that they're saying out loud, how much of that, let's just read into Moses' mind. Like, how much of that is he also agreeing with, like, man, God, why did you bring like, it does not look
with
good right now.
flaming arrows flying past their heads. Like,
right. I got to believe, right? Now, I don't know how much of this, right? I don't know any of this. So don't take this. This is not in the scriptures. Scripture does not allude to this at all. This is just my assumption of his state of mind, right? But I got to believe, at least for a moment, he's thinking, really, God? Like, you did bring us out here to die.
Yeah.
This is not cool, right? But what Carly brought up this point, he read this verse. It says, I'll just paraphrase a little bit. It says, do not be afraid, stand firm. This is Exodus 14:13-14. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. Right? The Egyptians you see today, you'll never see again. And this is verse 14. This is what he focused on. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. And what I love about that, that's the NIV version. What I love about the version that Carly read it in on Sunday is the NLT. It says, just be calm, right?
yeah.
Like, just relax.
Yeah.
It's okay.
The very same thing you can tell your wife when she's upset.
Yeah. They love that.
That's what I've heard.
Calm down. It's fine.
But in all seriousness, be still has been used multiple times in the Bible.
Yes, absolutely.
So there's something to it.
So Moses, now speaking for God, says, hey, these Egyptians that you're seeing coming after us right now, God's got this.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But I got to believe before he says that, there's some doubt in his mind, right? Yeah. So what Carly brought up, this great point, is he used that phrase, trust the process. And it really made me think of my corporate retail days. And it made me think of a leader I had specifically, a guy named Bertram. Coolest guy I've ever met. One of the best leaders I've ever worked for.
Bertram.
Yeah, great guy. Even though he did call me Mr. Chisholm for a long time when I worked with him. Then somebody finally corrected him. He's a great guy, so I just let it go. But one of my peers corrected him, and then he gave me a hard time. I say he yelled at me. He didn't really yell at me, but he gave me a hard time because we worked together for a year before somebody corrected him. He said, you have let me mispronounce your name for a year. Oh. He was so cool about it. So that,
like Pastor John, when I told him my name wasn't Travis.
It does happen.
You've been letting me call you Travis.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I have. Yes, sir, I have.
Right? But see, perfect example. Let it go because I know the guy.
Of course,
right? I appreciate him. I have great respect for him. Yep. And I know he knows who I am. Right? That doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. So, but I know him pretty well. We worked closely together for like 2 years. Great leader, right? But he would always use this phrase when I'd talk to him about a change, or I talked to him about something that was new or something I wasn't sure about, and he'd always use that phrase like, "Hey, I need you to trust the process, right? Just trust the process, trust the process, trust the process, right?" And it's taken me probably a few years to realize why I was okay with him using that phrase, because I don't like that phrase in general,
Yeah.
right? Just because it feels like one of these real corporate-y things, right?
Why is there a process? It needs to happen right now.
Right. Like, let's do it. I'm also a very impatient person,
Yeah,
right?
same.
That's just my life. But,
Yeah.
but he would use this phrase all the time, and it's taken me kind of till now to understand why I like the phrase. And I figured out why, because I could trust the process because of the person who was saying it. Right?
Yeah.
So because I had trust in Bertram, because he was a good leader who hadn't let me down before, right? Who had he'd been in the corporate retail world for like 40 years, tons of experience, taught me a lot of great life lessons, just a great man, great leader, right? But I trusted him, right? So when he was saying trust the process, what he's really asking, right? He's asking kind of two things, but the thing that he's really asking that he's not saying is just trust me.
Trust me. Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Because if somebody you don't know says, hey, trust the process, nah, not doing that, right? Now, the company I worked for, I never once met the CEO. So if the CEO had called me and just said, hey, Darren, I need you to trust the process. No, I don't trust the process.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't know you. Right.
Yeah.
And he's so far away, right? He worked in Chicago, never met. He's a Marine, he's a good guy. But I don't know him, right? He's never been in my store. He doesn't know me, doesn't know my kids' names, doesn't know my wife, like doesn't know my family, doesn't know my coworkers or anything. I can't trust him, right? So he's telling me to trust the process, and I don't know him, right? So Moses, right, is standing there, right, with the Israelites, and I gotta believe there's doubt in his mind.
He does not know all million of those people either.
Right.
So they're probably like, so why are we trusting this dude?
Right. You gotta believe that, right? But also think about this. Moses is now unsure, looking, hearing the Israelites and be like, oh crap, God did bring us out here to die, right? But then he remembers. So imagine he thinks back to the burning bush. He thinks back to all the plagues. He thinks back to the promise that God gave him, right? He's reminded of the promise, the covenant that was made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? That God reminded him of when God called him, right? God reminded him all these things. And so Moses is standing there at the Red Sea having this, I got to believe it's an internal battle and conversation with himself. And he remembers who God is, right? And essentially God is saying to him, right? Again, this is not in Scripture, right? This is reading between the lines, so take it for what it's worth, okay? Right. God is essentially saying to him, hey, you can trust the process. You can trust me, right? Yeah. This is a plan. And I think Carly brought it up on Sunday too, and I think the frustrating thing is when you're the hard thing about trusting the process is the process is not immediately just laid out. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, when so the Passover happens after the 10th plague, right? And Moses is like, all right, guys, let's go. Pharaoh said we can go. They didn't have a meeting where they gathered in front of a big map and said, all right, we're going to go here, and then we're going to go here, and then we're going to be here for 6 months, and we're going to come over here, we're going to come over here, come over here, and we're going to land here. Right? There was none of that. It was, hey, let's go. Yeah. And then they went, right? Yep. And they're following God's lead. And God didn't even reveal to Moses, like, all the direction and everything where they were going to go, right? But God essentially says to him, hey, trust the process, right? And why could Moses trust the process? Because of what he had seen God do, right? And even if you take it even a step further, right? Why did the Israelites decide to trust Moses, right?
Yeah, because they had seen,
because they saw him.
Yeah, they saw him representing, God who was doing these miracles. They're like, okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, I love that. So I was thinking through this morning. I thought, all right, why is it sometimes hard to trust the process, right? And I think the hardest thing is, even if you know, right, let's say you know Jesus, you know the Creator, you know God is calling you to, hey, just trust me, right? You can know that. You could have walked with God, right? Sometimes it's hard to trust that because our eyes are too fixed on our problem, right? Yeah. which is an easy thing to do, right? And if your eyes are more fixed on your problem than Jesus, guess what that makes you? A human being.
Okay. I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Yes.
No.
A human being.
A human being, right? You're just wrong. You're wrong. And you know what that's called? That's called living as a human being more than 2 seconds on the earth, right?
True.
Or if you've been married for 5 minutes, you've been wrong, right? As a husband, not my wife's never been wrong.
Not even one time.
I did give her a hard time the other day because my wife is gracious and wonderful, but I did give her a hard time the other day because I was right about something. And I don't even remember what it was. This is how unimportant it was. But I was right about something, and I looked at her. I was like, "So are you saying that I'm right?" She says, well,
Yep.
Like, no.
It's a little more complicated than you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
There's multiple factors.
Exactly. Right. Shout out to all my husbands that understand.
You wouldn't have been right if I was right. Type of deal.
It was so wonderful. It was wonderful. And again, I don't even remember what it was. So that's how unimportant it was. But I did give her a hard time. Like,
Yep.
so you're saying I was correct. What I said was the right thing. And I don't know that she's ever admitted it. I'm not sure if she's ever said the words.
So you know what?
She's believed it.
Body language speaks volumes too.
But
You
I'll
can
take
always
it.
tell.
It's all good. She's wonderful. It's been 16 years. Yeah. Shoot. She's foolish enough to stay with me for 16 years. Nobody tell her she's too good for me, okay?
Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, don't tell her that yet. Nobody needs to tell her. Wait till we get to 50, and then she'll figure that out if she hasn't already.
Wait till you're empty nester. She'll be like, I can't do this.
Right? But I was thinking about that. It was like, why do we get focused on our problems, right? Because that's just reality, right? But the reality is we get focused on our problems more than the process and the person who's asking us to trust the process, right? Because we're human, right? And I think the devil likes to use our problems and helps us to focus on our problems rather than I'm a solutions person, right? I see a lot of problems, and it's a bad thing. Like you ever done one of those personality tests that tells you like, here's how you think, here's how you see things?
No, I don't. Well, maybe once. It was probably around the time I did the ASVAB test before going in the military.
They did years ago. I did this thing. It's called the Strengths Finder assessment. It's a lot like the personality assessments, but it's focused on like how teams work together, right? So I found out in that I can't remember what the name of it was, but I found out that the way that I'm wired, I'm very critical of things, right? So I see things and I see things that could be done better. And immediately my mind goes to how can we improve it? How can we solve it? What's wrong with this? Right. The downside of that is it kind of makes me a jerk if I don't control my tongue. Right.
Right.
Because it could be very like somebody worked very hard on something. I could look at it, and if I don't, watch my mouth and, use tact, they could be like, Trevor, you did a great job, picking out this sign. The only problem is this blue is not the exact right blue. So can we get this? Let's remake it.
I tried. I even sent the right.
It's not
the
quite
right code.
It's not Trevor's fault. It's the neon company's fault. So if you've ever been watching Midweek and thought this looks terrible, it's not our fault.
I apologize for nothing.
Yeah, it kind of looks purple right now. And I kind of like it.
Crazy Neon.
Yeah.
They're actually shout out to Crazy Neon because they gave us a good discount.
Yeah.
It's a very nice sign.
Super cool sign.
Very nice sign.
But yes, I did figure that out about myself, right? But the problem is I focus on problems, right? Now I like to focus on solutions, right? And how things get better. But the reality is I think that's a normal part of our humanity, right? Satan likes to look at our problems and our circumstances around us that are difficult and say, yeah, that's tough. I don't know how you're going to get out of this one. That's real rough. So it made me think of Peter. Right. Yeah. So who Jesus was, pretty fond of, but also really tough on, right? Guy that ends up leading the church in the first century. And he is, I was thinking about the time that Jesus calls him out to walk on the water, right? And if you have Oceans in your head right now, just keep singing it. It's a great song. And if you didn't before, you do now. So that's okay.
Thank you.
But Jesus calls Peter out, right? And he's got his eyes on Jesus and he's walking on water. Just the coolest thing. Just one time in my life. How cool would that be? Just be like, I walked on water today. That was fun. Maybe one day. I don't anticipate trying though. And then he starts to get distracted, right? And he takes his eyes off Jesus.
Yep.
And he starts to sink, right? Because he's focused on the problem around him. And think about that. It made me think of the Israelites. Like, you better believe they're not seeing the process. They're not seeing the person in God who brought them out of Egypt, right? They're looking at the problem. They're not trusting the process. Just like Peter didn't trust the process, right?
Yep.
And on some level he did because he got out of the boat, right?
Yep.
But then he gets distracted, right? Takes his eyes off of Jesus, puts his eyes on the problem, and he starts to sink, right? Which I think the devil loves to do that. And it always makes me think of this verse in Hebrews 12:2. It says, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and the perfecter of our faith. In the King James, in my Christian school, when I learned it, it was the author and finisher of our faith, which is just the coolest way to phrase that, right? The pioneer and perfecter of our faith, for the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. I love more than anything, I love that phrase, fixing our eyes on Jesus, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you trust the process? You fix your eyes on the one who created the process, right?
The author and the finisher.
Author and finisher. That's the way it should be, right?
I agree. They
I don't
should
love
have
all
taken
King
that one
James,
out.
but that's the one,
Yeah,
right?
that just sounds so cool.
King James also references dragons and
That's
unicorns.
true.
So,
Yes.
That's another episode. We could, I don't know. Would it be boring to do an episode on Bible translations?
Would it be boring to do an episode on the Genesis 6 situation?
It wouldn't be boring, but it would be interesting. It would be interesting. I don't know.
I'm
if we're
introverted,
qualified.
but I'm not scared to talk about the Nephilim. Anyway,
I don't know if we could do that. Yes. So, how do you trust the process? How do you trust the process?
Yep.
You have to trust the one who created the process.
Yep.
And if you don't have a relationship with the one who created the process, it's going to be very challenging for you to trust the process. So, almost every one of these episodes, at some point, I thought about this the other day. Most of these episodes could be boiled down to read your Bible and pray more.
that's the thing.
And as stereotypical and cliche as it is, it's cliche for a reason. Mm-hmm. All cliches are cliche for a reason, right?
They've stood the test of time.
Exactly. So if you're struggling to trust the process, struggling to understand what it is that God has for you and how to walk through different circumstances, the reality is, one, you're normal, right? Because you're flesh and bone and a human being, right?
Yeah.
And two, the way you adjust that is you have to get to know the one who created the process, the one who holds the process together.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Don't get distracted by the problem. Keep your eyes fixed on, the future, the solution, what God has in store for you.
Yeah. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah.
What a day. That's good stuff.
Can we drop this mic?
I mean, the stand makes it a little tough. I think you've hit it enough today.
I'm sorry, microphone. I didn't mean to treat you like that.
Hey, look, if we wanted to be, the high-end, super professional podcast, we would have more than just a neon sign.
And we would have more money.
Yeah, we don't. But we love what we do.
May do with what we got, man, and I think it looks pretty snazzy.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty snazzy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't miss Give Thanks. Don't miss Compassion Weekend this weekend. It's a Pam Jacked weekend. You're not going to want to miss it.
Pam Jacked.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us in another episode of Midweek Motivation. Have a great week and stay motivated.
Stay motivated, my friends.
Let's go.